Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Show and Tell 9 of the current BoPS sprint. My name is Freya. I'm a plan officer at Southwark Council. I'm here today with colleagues to show you what we've been working on over the last 2 weeks of the BoPS project. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we'll keep you updated on new content of what we've been up to. We also plan to upload some demo videos in the video. Apologies, that just got a bit of a feedback loop there. So that's why I was saying, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and we'll keep you updated on new content of what we've been up to. And we plan to upload some demo videos in this channel over the next few weeks, so you can keep an eye out for those as well. As ever, the show is being recorded and it will be shortly made available on this channel alongside all of our other show and tell videos. And on our website, bops.digital, we have all of our videos and sprint notes as well. Next slide, please, Rianne. So for those who don't know, BoPS is a new software application that has been designed by and for local planning authorities to process planning applications. Our users are planning officers who carry out assessments of applications, and the managers who review the officer recommendations to grant or to refuse those cases and issue the decision to the applicant. In late June, we launched a private beta of RIPA and BoPS, and partner councils are now using the MVP of these tools to process lawful development certificate applications. Just to be clear on which project does what, RIPA, which stands for Reducing Invalid Plan Applications, is a tool where applicants submit their applications, and BoPS is the tool where the officers process the application and issue their decision. Next slide, please, Rianne. If you have any questions about what we show during the next half hour or about the tool in general, please click on the link in the description beneath the YouTube video and you can ask any questions there. And then we'll return to these questions at the end of the presentation. Next slide, please, Rianne. So what have we been doing during this sprint? As always, we have been very busy, and the theme for this sprint has been maps and validation. So some of the activities that we've carried out, we've iterated the validation process, and we've taken a focus on drawing and displaying maps on BoPS. We have built in the function to rearrange the order of all applications by date received, to make it easier for officers to know which cases are due sooner and which they have more time to complete. And officers can now also reinstate a plan which they had previously archived, just in case they did that by mistake. We've also changed our approach to user testing, and we're very pleased to share that 4 cases have now been received by Lambeth, which are currently undergoing assessment in BoPS. Next slide, please. So before we get into the demo and development use, I'm going to take a moment to explain how user testing has now been run for the project. In the past, we were taking quite an ad hoc approach to testing, and we were arranging sessions as and when officers at Southwark could spare the time. And the test itself was quite a general run through of the different features of BoPS rather than any particular journey. And the result of this process was that partners who might have wanted to observe the testing were not always aware of when it was taking place, and some of the newer or less commonly required features were not being specifically tested. So in response to this, last week, the partners all met to discuss a new, more focused approach to testing for BoPS. And we've now agreed to run 2 testing sessions each fortnight and open up note-taking to all partners. We've also allocated a further time slot to discuss feedback from these testing sessions and to agree on actions for design and development. We're also now actively seeking testers from all the partner councils to increase the testing pool. The outcome of these changes is that the user testing process itself will be more consistent, and that visibility of feedback between the partners and understanding of which suggestions from that testing have been actioned has been increased. Next slide, please. So as I already said, we're really pleased to confirm that we have started receiving real cases on BoPS. We currently received 6 applications, so they've been made through RIPA and they've been successfully fed through into BoPS. And this includes 2 applications made to Southwark, one of which we've already issued a decision for, and the other for which we're due to submit at some point this week. And we've also received 4 cases now at Lambeth. We've been receiving good feedback from the officers who have been using BoPS to do their assessments and their validation as well. So this is really exciting news because it means we're able to prove beyond doubt that the BoPS MVP is functional. As we expected, the receipt of live data has thrown up some challenges. However, this being an agile project, we have been able to resolve these really quickly All the partners have been involved in responding to these and to efficiently resolving the minor issues that we've had. So I'll now pass on to Tom.
Thank you very much, Freya. Hello, my name is Tom Gaylor and I am a designer with Unboxed working on the BoPS project. And what I've been focusing on mostly this sprint, and it builds on what I talked about at the last show and tell, is prototyping how officers can evidence their assessment. So this has been looking so far explicitly at LDCs and those that are proposed. And what there is now is a completed prototype that supports the assessment against policy, so that each officer is able to add a decision to a specific line of policy, whether the application that's been submitted, whether it complies or does not comply with that particular piece of policy. And so what we've worked together as a team to think about the best way to build this, to prototype it, to build it, and then so that we can test, to learn and iterate from it, because we're starting to, it represents quite a big movement forwards in how BoPS can store decisions that are made by planning officers based upon specific points of policy, how they can store that as data. And that really sort of unlocks a lot of potential within the system. And so we're really keen to see if the ideas we have around the way that this could function are effective. So we wanted to be able to support officers to go through the assessment process in real time. And we've decided to build a sort of an MVP of this specific aspect of the feature in such a way that we can quickly learn from it and we can sort of add and build on it in response to those user needs in an agile way. And so that's really exciting. And hopefully at the next show and tell, I'll be able to update you on the progress of that sort of prototyping and testing journey. I will now hand over to James, who's going to talk about some of the development work that's been going on this sprint.
Hello, I'm James. I'm the tech lead on this project. The main bit of development work I did in the last 2 weeks was working on integrating the new mapping tools. So I spoke last sprint about the early work that was happening here around both BoPS and Ripper sharing a mapping tool, so enabling you to draw and see the red line on a movable, zoomable map. So we've been working last time we had all the requirements gathered, and mostly Open Systems Lab have been developing that tool, but then I've been integrating it into BoPS so that we can, so that it works, and doing a bit of debugging, and there's been a bit of to and fro around that, but it's now in, and that's great. One of the big differences there, apart from just all these small little tweaks around like how you click and zoom and move around, is now consistent between both projects. And if there's a problem with it in one project, it will get fixed there, and then it will get fixed in both projects at the same time. And also this is open source, so other projects could use this tool as well if we wanted to have more consistency across all of the tools that are provided. But one of the things we've done there is we've switched from using Ordnance Survey's raster base map, so that's using bitmap images, to using the vector layer underneath, and we'll see that in a bit after Rian talks about the other bits of work we've done. So over to you, Rian.
So during the sprint, I've been working a little bit on the invalidation process, which we should be able to show you in the next show and tell. But there's been some other small bits of work going on as well. So we found out during our research that sometimes planners archive a plan which is then needed later. So we've added some functionality now for these plans or other documents to be restored into an active state with the application if they need to be unarchived. And also following on from research, we found out from planners that they would prefer to see the planning applications displayed on the index page in a chronological order. So we've now enforced this ordering on the page, which is just a more user-friendly way for planners to see which applications they should be working on. I'm now going to just show you quickly some of what we've been doing. So you can see here, I'm in our staging site, which is why you'll see a lot of these applications have the same address, they're test applications. And we can see that they are ordered in descending number. So if we go to the top application here, we can see that it was received on the 17th of August. The application underneath it is received on the 16th of August and so on. So nothing major going on there, but just makes it more logical for people. And here, if I go to documents, so I have an active plan there. And if I'm working on this and I decide to archive this document, and then you can see it appearing there in the archive documents. And now I decide that I don't want to archive it after all. I can restore it, get a little flash message that it's been restored. And obviously, we don't necessarily want to have things moving out of archived and non-archived without an audit trail. So if I go to the, I've been using this a little bit for testing, so we can see that it has actually been archived and unarchived multiple times, together with the person who's done that and when that happened, so that we can keep track of the documents. And James was talking about the work that we've been doing on the sitemap. If you remember, it looked a little bit more like a Google Street Map before, whereas now, as he said, we're using the Ordnance Survey, the vector layer. So you can see here that it's a much more useful tool for what the planners are used to being able to draw maps and so on. So that was it for this week as far as the demo goes, and I'll hand back to Freya.
Thanks, Rianne. Okay, so what have we got planned for the next 2 weeks? So our focus is going to be evidencing assessment, building, testing, and iterating. This is obviously a really crucial part of the service. So we're going to be building and testing these assessment features with officers to make sure that we get it right. We'll be implementing our new agreed user testing approach, which might take us some time to get used to, but it should ensure that we're able to really respond to the comments that we received in testing in a meaningful and effective way. Next slide, please. So that's everything from us for this week. Thank you to everyone who's joined us, and I hope that you found these updates exciting. If you are interested in finding out more about BoPS or Ripper, please contact us on the emails below or via Twitter. We would be really happy to meet with you, to show you a demo of the tool, and to provide more details about what BoPS can do and about the project in general. So please reach out. Next slide, please. Okay, so at the end of our presentation, we're now keen to take any questions that you might have about what we've shown you today. We've got Lauren from Southwark with us today, who's been checking the Slido for any questions that have come in. Lauren, have we had any questions come in so far?
Thanks, Freya. We haven't yet, but I'll give it a couple of minutes just in case any come through.
Okay. So if you do have any questions and you're watching, please get them through ASAP so that we can respond to those. Is there still nothing there, Lauren?
I've just given it a refresh and there's nothing there yet.
In a relatively simple sprint, I think. So
yeah, if anyone has got questions, they can always contact us on those email addresses from the other slide as well. Okay, so without any questions, we'll end it here. So thanks everyone again for watching us today. Remember that this video will be made available to view again on the YouTube channel with all of our other show and tells as well. And we hope that you can join us again for the next show and tell, which is in 2 weeks' time, and that's Thursday, the 2nd of September. Keep an eye on our Twitter as well, and we'll remind you on there. Thanks, everyone. Okay, it's ended.